Okay, so what triggers you to TUI? So one common trigger for me is encountering someone who communicates in a way that doesn't align with what I've been taught, that is professional or proper. For example, when I hear someone speak with a strong accent or use non-standard grammar, I sometimes find myself making assumptions about their intelligence or education. I've caught myself having gut reactions when I see a group of our brothers, black boys, kind of like congregating together in public spaces. And sometimes, you kind of like have to be a little bit careful because sometimes they be getting a bit rowdy. One instant is right here in Brooklyn Park, an intersection of Zane and 63rd. There was a shopping mall there, and apparently a few people got killed. I think guns were pretty much, how do you call it, gun battles. So I used to kind of like got a little bit angsty driving past that location. And I think we do have a group of active interveners that have pretty much cleared that crowd out. So not in a bad way, but it's what I've kind of like experienced. So these are uncomfortable to admit, but they are examples of TUI that I recognize and I want to challenge. Where did this influence on your thought come from? So many of these thoughts come from media that I consumed growing up, especially from Western television. Pretty much very popular growing up. So television shows, news reports, movies often portrayed certain racial and social groups in a narrow, often negative way. There was also influence from my educational background where proper language was associated with intelligence and success, while accents and informal speeches were viewed as unprofessional. Additionally, some of these ideas were reinforced with my own community, which had internalized some of the dominant narratives about race, class, and language. So, as an immigrant, I've also felt the pressure to adapt to mainstream norms, which sometimes lead me to unconsciously judge others who resisted or did not conform to those expectations. So, what concepts from this chapter can you apply to change your thought process? So, Brenda Allen's concept on TOI itself is a helpful tool. It reminds me that awareness is the first step towards change. Being mindful of my assumptions and asking, would I think the same thing if the person looked or spoke differently, is a powerful way to challenge my biases. I also find the idea of intercultural competence, communication competence, useful. It encourages self reflection and empathy, especially in moments of surprise or discomfort. Another key concept is internalized oppression, which Allen mentions when talking about her critique of people in her own group, recognizing how I may internalize dominant beliefs about my own identity helps me dismantle those assumptions and see both myself and others more clearly. Going forward, I plan to slow down my initial reactions and engage in more critical self-questioning rather than accepting my first thought as the truth. I will treat it as a signal to reflect, explore its origin, and consider my compassionate and informed interpretations. All right, thank you.